Welcome to the Finding Hope Show. I'm your host, Alisa Massey, and I am so thrilled that you've joined me. My goal is to inspire you to be happy and hopeful in your everyday lives. In this show, you can expect to gain hope and encouragement through life's many challenges regarding health, business, relationships, faith, and much, much more. Let's face it, the world is not getting any better, but we do. Join me once a week to discover your highest potential, all for the glory of God. If you would like to receive all the latest updates, promotions, and upcoming books, please go to alisamassey.com and simply put in your email or hit subscribe to this podcast. For a limited time, I'll be sending out 100 free signed copies of my first book, Anonymous No More. Hurry up, time's a ticking. Welcome to the very first episode of the Finding Hope Show. In this episode, I want to give you a little bit about my background and story so that you can better understand the inspiration for this podcast. So, without further ado, flashback to 1980. I know, so long ago. I was born into a loving, somewhat normal Christian family. I went to dance, I jumped off the bed and got stitches in my chin. I wrestled with my brothers and they gave me a swirly. And my favorite movie was Little Orphan Annie. Great taste, right? Unfortunately, life can't be budding roses all of the time. And after 20 years of marriage, my parents split. However, all hope was not lost for me. I did find a youth group, and this ultimately led me to getting saved at the age of 12. Hands down, the best decision of my life. However, this does not mean that life for me would get any easier. Mom and Dad were separated, and Mom started traveling a lot with her husband, who was a pilot. And we ended up in Hawaii. Now, this would have been perfect. You know, you have the sunny beaches, the mountains, and the scenery is to die for. But on the inside of our apartment building, all hell had broken loose. The fighting, the shouting. All I wanted to do was to go back to my tiny little Oklahoma town and play in the wheat fields and get underneath the covers and do absolutely nothing other than maybe reminisce over Little Orphan Annie. I did get my wish, and I moved back with Dad throughout the teenage years. All I can say is, poor Dad. The hormones, the annoying boyfriends calling, all that put aside, I was actually a pretty good girl. That is until my junior year. Then I started cruising the dirt roads and I was introduced to the party scene. You know what? I liked the party scene. Not so much for the people, but for the feeling that alcohol was giving me, especially when I drank 30-pack after 30-pack. You know what? When I drank booze, I could forget about the things that I didn't like about myself. And I actually had confidence for once. But I would always wake up the next day and regret the day before. And this, my friends, is no way to live. I should have picked up on the warning signs back then. However, I was young and had a lot to learn. I did, however, end up graduating with honors, and I was valedictorian. Never mind the class size. But the partying did continue. I was enjoying it a little too much. I always excelled at everything I did, including drinking alcohol. And then after the alcohol came the pills. The story behind that is the alcohol couldn't mask the anxiety. It was actually making it worse. So what did I do? I went to the doctor, and the doctor gave me pills for anxiety. Bad move. As I went into my 20s, I discovered that I didn't want to quit the alcohol or the pills. After all, I thought it was keeping me sane. And even if I did want to quit, I couldn't, at least not on my own terms. So I chose to keep masking my past, my anxiety, and my current problems that were getting worse by the minute. All the while, all of these things kept bubbling under the surface. Do you ever feel like things are bubbling under the surface? And at any moment, it could explode. That's how I felt. And it did explode. I was totally hopeless. As a result of my mistakes and the bad choices that I made, I lost everything. But the thing that was most crippling was my loss of hope. Have you ever felt hopeless? When you are hopeless, you don't care about what happens to you. You are unable to deal with everyday life properly because you are expecting the worst. This is no way to live. And as you can tell, this is not getting better. Just take a look at the suicide statistics. Well, since my days of hopelessness, I have come a long way. I am thankful to say that I am now passionate about life. Most days, that is. And I have a burning desire in my heart to share this hope with others. But friends, where did I find such a hope? How did I rise up out of the pit when I was in so much despair? And although I didn't try to take my life, I wanted to die. I felt so horrible, both inside and outside. I didn't want to deal with the world or the people in it anymore. The hope that I found is in Jesus Christ. Friends, God does not want us sitting on the couch all day, doing nothing or drowning in our sorrows with no way out. God is saying there is a way out, and it starts with Him. This is the point I want to inspire you with: change for the better, to live a happier and healthier life. My purpose and message is to help you find hope in everything. And it all starts with God. We don't put our hope in people, places, and things. We first put our hope in Christ, and He gives us hope in all things. Because when we first put our hope in Christ, we find hope in everything: the good, the bad, and the ugly. As we do this, we are not disappointed in the world, yet we conquer it because we know that God has a purpose behind it all. Friends, we all have a mighty purpose. And having been in such a deep, dark place and God delivering me through it all, I want to help inspire you for change for the better. And this is my purpose. So I hope you will join me on this journey, join me on this podcast. You can check out my website at alisamassey.com. And I also have a new book coming out in a few months called Finding Hope in a Turbulent World. So there are many ways that I will be taking you along this journey, but for the next episode, you can expect that we will be talking about finding hope in your higher calling. So, again, welcome to the show, and I hope that you will be with me on the next journey.